Hi friends! In today's video, I'm sharing with you 10 hacks for using Printify in just about 10 minutes. Now, many of these things I didn't even know when I first got started using Printify, but so many of them either save me time, make the uploading process easier, or help me convert more sales. So I wish I had been doing all of these hacks from the beginning. Now, really all of them are super easy to implement, and a lot of times it's just an extra click of a button here or there that I didn't even know existed, but makes my life way easier when uploading print-on-demand products to Printify. Now, there's a lot of hacks to cover here today, so I'm not going to waste any more time, and we are just going to jump right into the first one. Now, the very first hack that you may not know about, even if you've been selling on Printify for a while, is that not only for all of their products can you easily find what size you need to make your design canvas for, but you can actually download a template for every single product, so you can upload that to your design suite and seamlessly make your design using that. So for example, something like these ceramic ornaments, for some of them, they have a little bit of a more unique size. So that's something you might not know exactly how to format on your design suite. So all you're going to do to get that template to download is when you click Start Designing, you actually are going to see this button here. This is Download Design Template, and it's actually for something like this ornament going to download all four of those different shapes. So then if you're using a design suite like Canva or Kittl, you can just take that downloaded PDF, upload it on your canvas, and actually make your design right on that. So you make sure you're not making anything outside of the print area, because that's super frustrating if you think you have the dimensions right, but then it turns out part of the circle is cut off, or you didn't realize that some of the text was going to maybe be punched out by the hole on something like this. So for any of Printify's products, you can always download the design template to use and have the exact size. Now, this next hack is super easy and so useful, but it's one that I didn't even know from the beginning when I started using Printify. Now, especially for products like t-shirts, a lot of times I like to offer a few different color variations for my design, but that sometimes means that my design isn't going to work super well on certain colors. So for example, if I have a lot of light text, that's going to look great on a dark shirt, but if I put that on like a light yellow or a white, you're probably not even going to be able to see that. So with Printify, you can actually sell a bunch of variations of your design on multiple different colors. So I'm going to really quickly show you how easy it is to do that. So first, I'm just going to upload my generic design for this white t-shirt here. So I'm going to go over to my uploads and then import that for my device. Now, this is just a fun kind of generic mom Christmas design, but what I thought would be really fun is if I also could do something like this on a red shirt, make it extra festive. So under the variants, I am going to pick the other colors I also want to include. So I am going to pick this poppy red color right here, but as you can see, that doesn't look very good with the previous design just because part of it there is actually red. So what I can do is click this button that says make a specific design for poppy. Now it's going to default to only editing this one color variant, and I'm going to do the exact same thing, go over to my uploads and upload my alternate artwork that I have specifically made for a red shirt. All right, and now this one looks a lot better. So even in the previews, you can see that it's going to make you mock-ups for both types of shirts. So we have this really fun red one, but then you can change the color to the white, and you see that it's that totally different artwork, but people are going to be able to buy either of those colors with different designs in one listing on your Etsy shop. Now, the next hack for Printify is all about branding, and something you might not know that you can actually do for as little as 15 cents per listing is make a custom packing insert. Now, these are really cool if you have a special discount code or any information about your shop that you want people to be able to get in your order. You can seamlessly integrate this with your Printify products. Now, all you're going to have to do is start designing your package insert, and then once you're finished actually designing that full thing and you've named your product, you can actually enable adding that insert to all of your products in your Etsy shop. So it's kind of a one-time setup thing and a small fee per order, but it can have huge returns, especially if customers customers who get your item are going to come back to your shop and order over and over again, especially if you offer some kind of incentive like a discount code on those branded inserts. Now, this next hack is seriously so simple, but there honestly are a few people that don't know that you can do this, and it saves a ton of time when you are making new listings. So a lot of times in my print-on-demand business, I sell a variety of niches, but there's certain niches that are always doing well, so I'm adding products all the time to those niches. Now, it's very time consuming every single time to try and rethink of titles, descriptions, and all the settings that I originally made for that first listing in that niche. So what you can do in your Printify account is go over to your product section, and then if you want to make an item in a very similar niche, one of the easiest ways you can do that is just to click duplicate this product, and then that is going to create a duplicate listing for you to upload your new design, and then just make a few tweaks, but keep a lot of the info that you've used previously. So that's a huge time saver, especially if you're creating in many of the same niches over and over again. Now, along with that, when you are creating your uploads, one thing that I didn't know for the longest time is that Printify actually gives you the ability to add a custom photo as a size chart to your mockup photos. So you can totally make your own custom size chart and kind of brand it with your store's imaging and the colors that you like. But if you just want to save some time on your uploads or where you edit your listings on Printify, you can go over here to where it says mockup library and click that, and then it's going to show you all of the different mockups that Printify has. But if you scroll down to the bottom, there's one that is just this size chart right here, and if you click it and click save selection, it is going to add that as the last photo to your items. Now, if you haven't made your own size chart, this is definitely something that you should be including in your products, especially apparel items, because sometimes people think that things are going to fit a little bit different, especially for the unisex type t-shirts and sweatshirts. This is a great thing because then people can always verify they're getting the correct size, and it's literally an extra click of a button for you, so it's not taking a ton of extra time to add. Now, the next hack that you might not know about is if you ever encounter a problem with an item a customer received. So for example, maybe they ordered a size medium and they were sent a size extra small, or the printing is really messed up on the item that they ordered, or some other issue that isn't a problem with the way the customer placed the order. Printify is going to always be able to make that right for you. They're going to replace the order or refund it for the customer. But there's one hack you can do to make this process a lot faster and smoother for you, so you can get it resolved way quicker for your customer. So under your orders, if you have a problem with a specific order, you are going to click on that order, and then there is a section where there's a button that says submit issue, and all you're going to do is you are going to click that, and then you can click request a reprint. Now, this is going to take you into an area where you can describe the issue to a Printify customer support person, and you can provide any extra documentation. Now, this is really where the hack comes in. What I have started doing is if I ever encounter a customer problem, right away before even going to Printify to see what I need to do, I am going to ask them kindly if they could send me a photo of the issue. So maybe the tag is the wrong size. So if they just send me a tag of their item showing that it's the wrong size, that is perfect. If the printing is a little off, if they got the wrong color, just sending me a photo through my Etsy messages is what you want to ask for right away before even going to Printify. Because once you submit an issue to Printify, the first thing they're going to actually ask for is some kind of photo evidence of the mistake that happened on their end. So what can happen if you don't know to ask for a customer for a photo right away is sometimes you will go to Printify, you'll describe the whole issue, then you have to wait for a reply, then they're going to ask for a photo, then you're going to go back to your customer, ask them for the photo, then you have to send that back to Printify. So if right away when a customer brings you an issue, you can ask them for a photo and then send it directly to Printify along with the information about the issue you're getting addressed, that just cuts out a whole additional step. And sometimes what I've found is that, now this doesn't happen often, but sometimes there really is no real issue with the customer. Maybe they are just fishing for a refund or something, and so they aren't able to provide me a photo. So that just helps take care of that issue by itself. But if there is a legitimate issue, I want to be able to resolve it as quickly as possible possible. So asking for that photo right away is super helpful. Now, the next hack that I love to do on Printify is something that I go to a lot when I am really at a loss for what I want my next product to be, especially if there are holidays and specific seasonal things coming up and I'm really unsure of where to start. So maybe right now you feel like you're in a rut and you want to try something else besides maybe the t-shirts and sweatshirts that you've been doing. So a lot of times what I will do is I will go over to the Printify catalog and I am going to browse through a lot of their different curated sections of products. So for example, if I really want some inspiration, I might go over to the early access and see what new products either are just coming or I currently have access to, and try to get my wheels turning about what I can make out of these products to kind of re-inspire and reinvigorate me. And a lot of times with these early access products, there's not too many people selling them yet, so if you can kind of get in on the ground floor, a lot of times that is amazing. But besides just these early access products, a lot of times I like to browse some of the other categories. So the holidays are coming up very soon. They're going to be here before we know it. So I love to look at their holiday picks because sometimes they have items I might have never thought to sell specific for the holidays. So one thing you might have not thought about is like a candle, but because they have it right here, that could be a huge inspiration for you to make some awesome candle designs and upload that to your shop. And sometimes you see products that you didn't even know that they had on Printify. There's over 800 different product types. So a lot of times I just miss some. I didn't know that they even had that. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that they had all over print aprons. I think that that would be a fabulous one to make because people are going to buy those as gifts this holiday. So really anytime you just feel stuck or maybe you want to try something new just for fun, I really recommend looking through a lot of these different categories just to get some new ideas and inspiration of items you might have never thought about selling before. Now, the next hack for Printify when you are uploading new listings to your shop is all about mockups. So as you know, if you've used Printify before, they do have a full mockup library for each item of photos that are free for you to use. So for example, these mugs that I have uploaded here, there are some really generic kind of mug mockup photos, but what I have found is that if you can create your own more realistic in context photo for your listings, those are going to do even better than if you just kind of use these generic photos that look very staged that a lot of people are also using. So the easiest way you can make these is actually using the site called Placeit. It's actually who Printify even recommends for getting your mockups from. So on Placeit, they have a catalog of thousands of different mockup photos for almost any print-on-demand product type. And these types of photos tend to do a lot better on Etsy than just a generic white background photo or one of the two in-context photos that Printify has that thousands of other people are also using. So all you do is you are just going to upload your artwork here and then format it to any of these mockup photos. And these tend to do really well, especially for seasonal items. If you are selling any Christmas mugs or even Christmas shirts or pajamas, having them in kind of a Christmas holiday environment is going to help them do even better. So I highly recommend changing out those generic mockup photos on Printify for something on a place like Placeit. I'll have all their information along with Printify's information linked down below too if you want to check out getting a subscription to Placeit. Now, the next hack that you may have heard a little bit about but still not be really sure what it is or how it works is something called Printify's Choice. Now, in the past, to sell items on Printify, you had to always manually select which manufacturer you wanted to be printing, packing, shipping your items. And they had a huge selection, a ton of great options. But now for many of their products, they have something called Printify's Choice, which basically just takes that decision out of the mix for you. So if you're not really sure about which manufacturer to use, you can always default to Printify Choice. Now, basically what Printify Choice is going to be, it's kind of creating a network of trusted print providers for you. So they are going to pick the manufacturers that are the highest rated. They're going to pick the ones that have the lowest prices, the lowest shipping, and sometimes the fastest delivery. Now, the manufacturer who actually ends up fulfilling your item is going to be different depending on where you are or your customer is located sometimes, because they want to make the experience as quick as possible. So different manufacturers are able to fulfill specific items faster than others, but by defaulting to Printify Choice, you don't have to think about any of that. You're always just going to get the best option for this item every single time. So if you haven't tried this yet, I definitely recommend going going with Printify's choice, especially if you're really new to print on demand and just sifting through all the different manufacturers you can choose from feels like a huge headache. You can definitely trust this, that your item is going to be good quality and it's going to be done really fast. Now, the next hack that you might not know about, or you might really not know if it's worth it for your business, is investing in Printify Premium. So if you've never made an account with Printify before, you've never sold with them integrated with Etsy, it's actually totally free to get started with them. They have a free plan where you have access to everything. Every single item is available to you to sell. There's nothing behind a paywall. But one really cool option they have is Printify Premium, which is $24.99 a month, but it's going to get you up to 20% off of all items. Now, at first, that might not seem like a lot, but the math typically works out to, if you are selling more than about 10 items every single month, or that's your goal, you are going to have more savings paying for Printify Premium than just paying the full cost of every single item. So that kind of wholesale discount really adds up over time. And for some of the items, you're saving multiple dollars, which in turn just leads to more profit in your pocket. So if you haven't upgraded to Printify Premium, or you just want to try it out, you can sign up down below through the link that I have for you guys. Or if you just want to try out Printify for now and see if it's a good fit for you and your shop, you can totally get started with the free plan and seriously upgrade at any time that it makes sense for you and your print-on-demand business. Now, I hope you guys learned some fun hacks in this video that you may not have known about before. And if you're curious about some more print-on-demand tips, or maybe some mistakes that you might be making as a beginner in print-on-demand, I highly recommend checking out this video next. It's super fun and covers some mistakes that I see all the time, but are super easy fixes. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.